Hello, this is a lesson in how to create graphs using pivot charts in the HTC data use tool. Again, using the HTC tool file titled HTC_tool_Tanzania, click on the For Charts tab. Here, you'll see a pivot chart. Similar to the pivot table tool, here we see the pivot chart. And if you click within the chart, you will also see here on the right the pivot table field list. For this exercise, let's start with a fresh pivot chart. So either your pivot chart window here will be blank, and then you don't need to complete these steps. If you do see an image here, select within the chart. Under the Analyze tab, select Clear and clear all. So now we have a blank pivot chart. Now let's work in the pivot table field list. For this exercise, we're going to use DHS data from Tanzania to better understand which regions have the highest percentages of people ever tested for HIV and received results. Let's also stratify this data by gender to see if there's a large discrepancy between males and females by region. Again, since we have familiarized ourselves with the data in the tool through the Inputs tab, we know that the indicator percent ever tested and received results is presented by region in the DHS data source for year 2010 among 15 to 49-year-olds. So first, let's set our filters like we did in the pivot table. You come up here to Data Source, select the down arrow, uncheck all the boxes, and choose DHS. For year, uncheck all the boxes, select 2010. Under gender, we want to compare genders, so we like to select both female and male. Okay. And for age group, we're just looking at the 15 to 49-year-old age group. Now, again, similar to the pivot table, we're going to drag these fields into their respective windows. So first, select Data Source. We'll drag that to the Report filter. Also Year to the Report filter. Select Gender and drag to the Legend fields, as well as Age Group. This means these two attributes will appear in our legend of the graph. Select Region and drag to the Axis field. Now our graph should appear here on the left. By default, this title will appear, as will this axis title. Keep this in mind, you will need to change this title and this axis title if you choose to graph another indicator. In our case, we want to graph percent ever tested and received result, so let's select that indicator and drag to the Values window. Again, the default is Count, so we want to select the down arrow, Value Field Settings, Average, and OK. Here we see a map of the percent of males and females ever tested for HIV and received results among 15 to 49-year-olds in Tanzania. As shown by our legend, blue represents females 15 to 49, red represents males 15 to 49. Now let's learn some tips to format our pivot chart. First, let's work on our title. To start, highlight the graph. Under Layout, select Chart Title. This lets us decide where we want the chart title to sit. We can try Overlay, which means it's within the graph, or Above Chart. Let's keep it above chart. To change the font, color, style, or size of the text, click within the title and highlight the text. You can come to the Home tab and adjust any of these settings if you want to change the size, color, or font. Let's stick to what we have, so we'll keep it with black. You want to be sure your graph has a legend. Again, when your graph is highlighted, under the Layout tab, select Legend. we have the legend at the bottom of our graph. There's other options such as legend on the left, legend on the right, legend at the top. I think the top looks good. There you can really see what the legend is instantly. Now let's work on the appearance features of the graph axes. So let's right-click within this axis, select Format Axis, and here we see the information for the axis. Here we can adjust the min or max number. So here we see it's 0 and 80, which correspond to these numbers. So 80 is the max, 0 is the min. If you select number, you can change the appearance. If we want it to look like currency, or percentage. Since our data was entered as a number, let's keep it as a number with no decimal places. Select Close. If you wish to change the color of the bar lines in your graph, you can select the bar, right-click, select Format Data Series, select Fill, Solid Fill, and here you can change the color. Since females are often associated with a pink or red color and males with a blue color, let's change the color of our bars. So for female, we'll select this maroon color, close. Now let's select the males, right-click, Format Data Series, Fill, Solid Fill, and here we'll select blue and close. So now as we see from our legend, females are this red color, males are this blue color. This pivot chart is directly linked to the table and to the data. So any changes in either window will affect the appearance here. Similarly, if you add data to your Inputs tab, you will need to refresh this data. Let's walk through that now. Click inside the chart. Select Analyze, Refresh. Lastly, let's copy our chart. So again, it can stay this static image and can be used in other Microsoft applications. Click inside your chart, right-click, select Copy. This time, let's paste our graph into a PowerPoint presentation. Let's open Microsoft Office PowerPoint. Click inside the slide, right-click, and select Paste. If we come here to Layout, Blank, we now have a PowerPoint slide showing our graph. This concludes the lesson on the HTC Data Use Tool. Thank you.